So we were out with the Camaro, the 908 Roy Morrison, big nitrous fuel injected motor on the weekend, and I don't have it in the shop here right now, so I can't really show you what's going on. I was going to try and get it in this weekend, but I got nobody to help me get the front end off and get it out of the trailer and stuff. So I'm just rewiring this Camaro here. But on the Camaro, on the other Camaro, on the big 908 nitrous motor, it's got a dry sump system. Probably show you a little bit on this motor. It's got a dry sump oil pan with a pump on the front here, and then it's got a vacuum pump. Now the dry sump system draws crankcase vacuum out of the crankcase, and then it has a vacuum pump also, and then it would also have two tanks mounted up front here. One is the oil tank for the dry sump system, and then it has another vent tank for the vacuum pump. And initially when we went out racing, the vacuum pump was vented into the dry sump vent, and it was filling up with oil, so I separated them and ran another tank for the vacuum pump and then another vent tank for the dry sump. And I found that the vacuum pump is drawing oil out of the engine when it's not supposed to, and it's creating a lot of vacuum going down track, and the pump itself that's on that motor has no regulator. So what I did is I got this regulator here, and before I put it on the motor or on the motor on the vacuum pump and make a run with it, I want to know how much vacuum it's going to hold. So what I did here was I got my AC gauges on here, and I found an old line here, and I just cut it off and put that end on there, just so that I can run the pump here and adjust that regulator to the vacuum that I want. So what I do is turn that on. Now it's creating vacuum here. You see, as soon as I plug the hole here, it's got vacuum. So now I'm going to put this on the regulator. It actually holds vacuum and stays there. So we got about 20 inches of vacuum. So now I can adjust this here. I'll turn it out. We got 15 there. I'll turn it in a little bit more. So we'll get it up to about 18 inches of vacuum. So I'll lock it down there, and now I won't have to. I won't have to make a bunch of runs on the motor and data log from the race pack. And you know, the driver can't keep an eye on the vacuum gauge going down track, so we have a data logger that we monitor the vacuum. So now I have a starting point where I can bolt this onto that vacuum pump, make it run, and I know it's going to be very close without creating too much vacuum. So what I'm trying to do is avoid creating too much crankcase vacuum and sucking oil up into the reservoir. So yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So I got that set now. I'm going to put this on that pump, and we should be good to go, and hopefully this thing will relieve some of the crankcase pressure, the crankcase vacuum, and not suck oil into the pump, into the reservoir and the pump, because the pump draws from the valve cover, which is baffled in there, so it shouldn't be sucking oil. Also, if you create too much crankcase vacuum, you won't get a decent drain back on the oil. It kind of puts the oil in the motor kind of in limbo, and it doesn't want to drain back into the pan. And on any oiling system, whether it be a dry sump or a wet sump, the drain back is very important. You want to have oil in that pan so that the pump can pick up the oil. If you run too much vacuum, it can be very dangerous for the oiling system, because it doesn't want to drain back. It just kind of hangs the oil in the motor, and I'm having a feeling that that's why we're getting so much oil up into the vacuum pump reservoirs, because the oil is just kind of hanging around up in the valve cover in limbo, and the vacuum pump is just sucking it in. So this should fix that problem. I know when I ran alcohol in my motor, in my race car, I ran a vacuum pump and I had a regulator on it, and that's all it did was draw the moisture out of the engine, which is what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to draw any oil out. So on mine, I took it right off the breather here, ran through the vacuum pump, and then went to a reservoir, and I drained that reservoir after every run, and there was just moisture in it, no oil, which is what we want. So yeah, I got a little nitrous intake down there. So yeah, working on the Camaro here too a little bit. American Auto Wire kit, and it's getting all the EFI system. So this is all the stuff that came out of it. It had a factory computer in it. It had all this alcohol, control for that meth injection, alcohol injection system. Like, whoever wired this thing, it looks like fresh wiring, but it's just a disaster. So we're going to clean it all up. I've already got the rear part done here, rear harness for the lights. Got to clean all the wiring out of here. This is the meth injection pump, and then you've got to figure all this out. The fuel gauge wiring goes down into the tank somewhere. Oh, I'm getting my instructions all over the floor here. But the American Auto Wire kit comes with all the connectors you need. So yeah, working on that. It's got vintage air in it, so I got to wire that in, and then he wants to put cruise control in here too. So yeah, there's always something. I'm so busy, I just don't make videos anymore. But I thought this was kind of an interesting video on how to adjust the vacuum for a vacuum pump.